I'll guess I'll go ahead and welcome everyone to this informal part of River Oaks annual meeting. The formal part we already had. It's one good thing that the pandemic brought along. You can do the voting by postal votes, and you don't have to go through it on the actual annual meetings. Yeah, I guess we'll go right because I see Tommy's here. So all shareholders got this one. It's Fortnox 20-year anniversary. Yeah, Tim can show them. And I hope some of you took the chance to just read through a little bit the story of the first 20 years. There were stories of a demo being made in Malmö where they couldn't even get the software working, so they had to go all the way back by train and not having demoed anything. There was also a story I enjoyed with where they had decide between the key bands, the Fortnox key bands and the salary, and they went for the key bands. I think there are quite many entrepreneurs here, so some of you can recognize stories like that. And when I was preparing up for this meeting, I actually found a little old note of mine. I think, Tilma, maybe you can put it up. It was before River Oak was started. I wanted to get some inspiration to go to Omaha to see, maybe something similar could be started. And the budget was a little bit leaner at the time. So to the left here, you can see what was needed for flight and hotel. And we had a 6 months old, our oldest son was 6 months, Oliver, at the time. So we had to bring him also. To the right, you can see how much we had. So you can see on the top line there is LG, that's my wife, Larissa cash. You can see Larissa account. You can see Daniel cash, and then what we would get in at the end of May. So we were still about 8,000 Swedish crowns short. And I don't know if we consider leaving our oldest kid at home or something, but I think we managed to get that together in the end. So yeah, I think many of you hopefully relate to a lot of those early stories, which I think any company has. Not everyone becomes as big as Fortnox, but either way, when River Oak started in February 2017, Fortnox was actually our day one investment. It was done at a split adjusted price of 3.4 Swedish crowns. It's been increased a few times since then. It's actually also been trimmed once to finance something else, but mostly it's been increased, and it's obviously been a large part of our success so far. Yeah, so without further ado, really happy to have Tommy here. This is the time where you be at the stage and you get a lot of applause, but we'll do it like this. So yeah, welcome, Tommy.
Thank you.
So Tommy, you have been asked endlessly in many interviews about margins, your international expansion options, your 5-year goals. I think people can go online for that. So I've tried to structure today's questions a little bit differently. I think to start out, in 2019, you had a great CEO job at IST, education technology company, also in Växjö, growing nicely, doing well, similar revenue as Fortnox. And what made you come to Fortnox at that time?
Yeah, I thought that Olof Hallrup, who approached me, he said that Fortnox is running quite good, but it's based on decisions taken like 5-10 years ago, and he wanted someone that can take decisions that will make Fortnox successful for the next 10 years. So he saw that although we were running quite good, he also saw that we needed someone that could take kind of the next step, although the business was running quite good. And I've been approached, Vecco is not that big if you compare to those companies that you refer to. So I've been approached a couple of times before if I wanted to join, and I didn't thought that the timing was right. But when the main shareholder and he also was approaching me, and he also said that at the same time he was up for taking on the chairman role. So I thought that was an interesting opportunity, and I have run IST for 5 years, so it was kind of a crossroad if I were to take that company to the next level or joining Fortnox. So it was a mix of a couple of things, but that was the background.
All right. And was there something you had from IST or previous companies you had worked at that you were desperately wanting to take to Fortnox and implement there, that you thought could really make a difference there?
Yeah, IST was a bit bigger organizational wise, and also we've been active internationally and also doing M&As and a bit more, a bigger organization, one can say. And I'm from Saab, so Saab, the security and defense company. So I've also worked at bigger organizations. So I saw that Fortnox needed a way to be able to grow and do that in a bigger suit, so to say, so that you with size and don't become inefficient. So I saw that something that I could bring to the table to keep efficiency while growing, one can say.
Yeah, and I should just put in here that at the time when Tommy joined, Fortnox was already doing very well with revenues growing threefold, earnings growing fourfold. Tommy came in, and I think there was at least some skeptics at the time. And I should say I think Tommy has proven them wrong and then some, because there's been another at least double in revenues, I think, and probably something similar in earnings since then. This was actually, Tommy started January 1st, 2020. So only 2 months later, COVID came along. So what was the first, say, 1-2 things that you did when you realized that, this is going to be something in Europe as well?
I guess no one understood the scale of COVID at the start of it. So you planned like a week ahead every week. So we took the whole personnel from one day to another. I had a Friday meeting and said that on Monday we're working from home, everyone, and we said that we'll take it week by week now, and then it took 2 years. So it was a big thing, but also a positive thing. We were able to change ways of working quite quickly regarding being able to work from home and also being able to take decisions while not everyone is in the room and stuff like that. So both for us and also for our customers, there has been some positive side effects. But of course, nowadays when most of us are at the office, we think that that's still the preferable way of working. Although people are working from home, so a couple of days per week, but still it's a lot of engagement and a lot of positive things by meeting up as well. So I think that we have learned to work from home. We have learned to take decisions through video and stuff like that. But we also see that we don't want that to be the standard. So now when we have the opportunity to meet up and work from office as our main working space, that's preferable.
Is there are more than 50% of the workforce back in the office now, or?
I think it's more than that. So we have a guidance saying that we would like for people to be at the office from 2 to 5 days per week. But it's up to you and your team, so everyone decides. And we have not taken the opportunity to save on seats. So although if you're just working 2 days in the office, you still get your own seat, so you don't need to go into the office and rush to your favorite seat. So we don't take the opportunity to save money on the office because we still feel that even though that people like the flexibility of working at home, we haven't heard anyone that say that they would like to change office seat every day at the office. So that's just a way of saving money that we have not wanted to do, because our offices is still an important hub of culture, so to say.
All right. I'm switching gears here a little bit to Fortnox is obviously I guess you could say hardcore software company, you've had quite a few massive software projects where you migrated. You had in 2014 when you actually migrated from the old Fortnox to Fortnox 3 called F3, which is the current platform that houses all your core customers. You've also recently built a new CRM system in-house. You built a new financial platform in-house. I think there are many companies in the world that have to do all these projects, and I would say that quite few are as successful with them as Fortnox has been. What do you think has been the key there in these enormous projects where you have, just to give some context, Fortnox has more than 400,000 customers. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have a really good product, and it's hard to of course, I've seen many companies that holds quite a good business, and they may deliver quite a good product offering as well. But in the base, the structure of the product is not that good. But you still manage to deliver quite good with many people, and you may have really good business models, so you get along, so to say. But the base, the structure of the product that we have, the architecture of it is really good, and it's really scalable. It was not an obvious decision to, for instance, put all customers have their own database. And if you ask, software architects if that is good or bad, half of them will say it's a good architecture, and half of them will say that it's not good. But I think it's really good. So we have one, and that's really scalable. So we have like 700,000 databases right now. So we can scale that, as long as we want, and that has been really good for us. So product-wise, it's really good, and also, of course, the people. So if I just compare with all the different software companies that I have been for, and I've been a software developer, so I've been working at many different software development companies.
I didn't know.
That's my background. So I've been doing that for many years, and so I like this, that. So that's my background. And if I just compare in average, I would say that the competence in Fortnox is way ahead if I compare to other software companies. And that is shown also in what you're delivering, and this is also a positive spin. So if you have good people, that will attract more good people, and with that, even more good people. So it's a positive spin that we take advantage of.
Yeah, I also have a background as a software developer, so get that out of the way. But just I thought it was interesting. You mentioned you did this new CRM system. Many companies would just take a Salesforce or whatever CRM system is out there to have all the customer relations in there. What was behind the decision to build your own one?
Yeah, and just to clarify that, we also have more a CRM system as well, connected to that. So certain things, for instance, marketing through emails and stuff like that, we are actually using Upsales, which was a partner of ours for a couple of years. So we also have Upsales connected to our backbone, but all the customer management features have we developed, and also the subscription management, which is kind of complicated, and not that many companies that have as complicated and as many customers as we have as well. So in that sense, a couple of things that we have in the structure was not able to deliver on the market. So there were not any system that could deliver the requirements that we have. And especially, I think I've talked about that during a couple of calls before, that a new system is always better in the certainty of scalability and usability and all of that. But the real advantage, the top priority why we did it, was actually communication with our customers. So we saw that that was increasing, and it was increasing exponentially, and the complexity on how to communicate with our customers if we were to do that all automatically. And when, if you have 425,000 customers, you can imagine how many users we have, and being able to communicate digital with all the users, that's really complicated. And before, in our old system, we only have one way of communicating with our users and customers. So it was one or nothing. And since they are in their customer journey so different, we needed a way to do segments, saying that these customers are in this phase, and we need to onboard them in this way by helping them with this and this. So, and that is really complicated when you have so many different, because we have all the way from self-employed all up to several thousand employees and everything in between, and different industries, and they use the platform, different products, and so it's so complicated. And I would say, so that's the whole, you know, complexity of the new platform, to be able to handle that.
Yeah, well, my software development days are largely behind me, but it sounds like a quite exciting software project to do all that.
Yeah, and you can imagine, so that we have so much data, and out of all that data, we can automatically make different segments. So we can even look at, you know, the payroll system, or even the bookkeeping. So we can look at different roles in the bookkeeping and make segments out of that. And with that, support them in how they can be, you know, more successful in how they run their business. So it is quite powerful.
Right, cool. And you said these three are, well, F3 is largely behind us, but the two big ones, the customer management system and the financial backbone, that's largely behind you. I don't know if you want to say what.
No, but it was, you know,
pipeline.
We did quite good, you know, financially last year, but it is still important to understand that we are in a growth phase, and we are still, you know, massively investing in our future, and these three are examples of that. So, but we are through that now. So we have, you know, 2 new data centers that are scalable and much higher security than what we have historically, and both the financial backbone and the, you know, the new customer care system that we have now delivered, you know, that will take us through the business plan period easily, which is important to me.
Is there any other large software project that you see coming, or is that, and if you don't want to comment on that?
No, but something that we have not communicated that much is this AI bookkeeping. Is also a huge project. It's not, you know, it's not a similar project as the others, but because it's more product feature wise, so it's more like a new product. But it's a massive project, and that will, you know, substantially change the whole industry, I would say. So we are delivering that now piece by piece, and we don't have that many customers on it yet, and it takes, the thing is that you need a connection to your bank, and the banks has been kind of slow moving, but now all the bigger banks are connected, but not Swedbank. So most of the bigger banks are now connected digitally, so that you can onboard your, you know, your Fortnox data and connect that to your bank, and with that information we can do all the bookkeeping for you automatically. And now we are also on pilot this month is actually connection to your IRS account, and so then we'll do the same on the IRS account. And since we already have automatically bookkeeping on invoices and receipts, that's pretty much everything that we need. So with that, we will deliver automatically bookkeeping on everything, so you don't need to do anything.
Sounds good. Just a question. I know I talked about this a little bit, but was there something when you came to Fortnox that was, you know, very different, for better or worse, compared to every other place that you've worked at, in terms of people or how things were done? Or
no, but as I said, product wise and people wise, we are way ahead if I compare to any other organizations that I've been to. I think that we can do more regarding partnerships and also something that I brought to the table, acquisitions. So business wise, I think we can do more for our customers. And I think that is also important with growth. We need good relationship with all other players that you need when you run a company, so to say. So I think that we can do even more for our customers, and with that also deliver a better business with better relationship with the banks, for instance. And we have a lot of other vendors, that we are now become better and better at setting up corporations, partnerships, and also saw that we've done a couple of acquisitions. And acquisitions is almost the same as partnerships in our structure. So we need to do pretty much the same due diligence to go into a partnership and white label a product to actually buy that company. So to us, it's kind of the same process. And that's also why I set a whole team that is only working with partnerships and acquisitions.
Right. I know you have said that, at Fortnox, the culture live within the walls. This is something that every company wants. And, there's been written hundreds and thousands of books about this, I don't want to give away your Coca-Cola recipe, but, do you want to elaborate a little bit what you mean with that when you say culture lives within the walls?
Yeah, but it is hard, it's hard to change culture. So if you don't have it, it's hard to add that, so to say. So and we have something here, and what we are working with now is that we know that we have a really good culture, and it makes a difference every day, and our customers can see that. You can see that in our numbers, you can see that in our employee service and everything. It is something about Fortnox that is really positive, and it's hard to explain. So what we're working on right now is that with the growth rate we have now, and also with more partnerships and acquisitions, we need to describe that. So that is what we're working on now, to be able to put words on that. That feeling that we know is there, and it's a positive thing. We want to put a word on that. So that is what we're working with, so that we can scale even faster by making sure that we keep all the good things with our culture.
Got it. I think I have a question later to wrap up a little bit, but there are some questions from the audience. I think we can take one or two from the audience. Tillman.
Thank you for the opportunity. I've got some questions sent in, so in the future shareholders can do this as well. And this question is more on the threats and the risks. It's from Andre, and he wants to know what could go wrong for Fortnox.
Yeah, if I don't talk about macro financials or anything like that, all the things that is happening around, that is hard to speculate on. So if I just talk about our business and how we run it, I would say that the biggest risk that we know of is probably that we're doing too much at the same time. So to be able to prioritize the right things is something that we're working on. So we know that's the biggest risk, and we're working on it, but it's in our hands. So we are way ahead right now regarding competition. And since we're investing right now in a lot of things that will have impact in 3-4 years, the feedback loop is kind of slow. So we don't know within, we will know 2-3 years ahead if we have taken the right decision right now. And of course, not that many companies have the luxury of being in that position. So we have put ourselves in really good position, but of course it is a risk also. So I would say that's the biggest risk right now.
Let's take one more from the audience, Tillman.
There's David. He raised the hand, and so he can ask a question. If you want to do as well, please raise your hand.
Okay, yeah, I actually was thinking about risks, and you briefly mentioned that you had better security since you kind of restructured the processes or rebuilt the product. But wouldn't a big threat also be cybersecurity? There's a lot going on. You can look at the Russian and Ukrainians and North Korea and the Chinese, and I guess a lot of Western hackers as well.
Of course, it's
But
always a risk, and if you're saying that it's no risk, then you probably don't know your system. So it is always a risk, but it's not the biggest risk. And we have historically invested quite a lot regarding security, and with our new data centers, we have become even better. And we have signed up now for many different big bug bounty programs, and we have signed up for a new SOC, and so we are continuously increasing our risks. So with the way that we're doing business right now, I wouldn't put that as a top risk. Actually, it is a risk, but it's not our top risk.
Okay, but then you run your own data centers, is that?
Yeah.
How should I say? Okay, thanks.
Well, I guess I can take one more here before wrapping up. But yeah, Tommy, you mentioned this project on AI accounting. In 10 years, do you think there are still a lot of accounting consultants doing what they're doing today, or will accounting AI bear the brunt of it?
I think they definitely have an important role to play when you run a business. So what we are removing is mainly the administrative burden for them. So I think it's opportunity for them to earn more money, because with this they can, if they can keep up their prices, they can increase their margin, and also spend more time on insights and advising their customers on how they should run their business. So I think the banks have done a strategic wrong decision by removing themselves out of this puzzle, because they have digitally removed themselves from a business. So it's nowadays you have a bank, if you need to take a big loan, then you have your accountant that you talk to, and then you have Fortnox as a software base. So I think that it's still, when you run a company, a good thing to be able to call someone. And it's kind of hard to replace that with a digital system. So I think they have an important role going forward.
All right. Just one thing here, since we're with the CEO, is there something that most people miss or get wrong about Fortnox, or maybe underestimate or overestimate for that matter, that you think is not well known out there, but behind the wall, so to speak?
Now, I think more and more people understands what we're doing, but I think it is hard for everyone to understand that we are quite early on in our company, because we have been there out for 20 years and we're doing quite good. One can think that we are a solid driven company, that we are, but we are still a startup, and I think that is important. We are still inefficient. We're growing. Out of the 600 people we have now, 250 of them are new, and you can imagine, by us hiring or adding 250 people when you are 350, you can imagine how inefficient we were just during 2021, which you always are when you are a startup, and we are still in that phase. And I think that is something that people miss.
All right. I don't know if we have time for one last question, Tilman, or are we coming up on time? Is there one from the audience? I mean.
Yeah. If anyone I know there's no raised hand, so I have this question from Andre. How do you plan to grow? Is there also an idea of international expansion, organic growth, or acquisitions? I think you mentioned it a bit, but maybe you can.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, but in our plans, where we're saying that we can be 700,000 companies and double the revenue per company, we're saying that we don't need to go outside Sweden to be able to reach those targets, and we don't need to acquire any customers in Sweden to be able to reach that. So in our business plan, we don't need to do any extra, so to say. For instance, price increases, business outside Sweden, bigger acquisitions, it's outside that. So in our business plan, we don't need that to be able to deliver our public KPIs. But of course, we're working on those as well, because it's upsides on the plans that we have.
All right. I'm gonna tell everyone here now that Tommy was quite recently elected as chairman of X Square Tennis Club, and it's an interest in his family. So you're gonna get a little bit unusual final quick 3 here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Nadal, Djokovic, or Federer?
Federer.
Monica Seles or Steffi Graf?
Steffi Graf.
And Pete Sampras or Andre Agassi?
Andre Agassi.
Okay, surprising one. Well, it's been fun, Tommy, to have you here. Thanks so much for coming. So you have something good to play tennis in this summer. You're gonna get one of these.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice t-shirts and one of these caps as well.
Sounds really good. We have what they call, a cleaning day at the tennis court today. So I'm actually going to leave for a cleaning day at the tennis court right now. So.
Perfect. Yeah, they should get to you within a week or so. But yeah, thanks so much, Tommy. This is where you will get the thunderous applause, but maybe you can all join me in thanking Tommy. So
thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Everyone is muted. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Tommy. Bye.